Hey guys, Croc here. If you don't know, I'm a massive fan of Payday 2, and with the release of Payday 3 last year, it left me in a bit of a disappointed state. However, after the most recent large addition to the game, Boys in Blue, I felt inspired to voice my issues with the game. If you'd like to know, I have supported this game more than most people, paying for a collector's edition and a gold edition on 2 different platforms, so I definitely have a horse in this race. In the next few minutes, I'm going to cover all aspects of the game I have a real issue with, and that I hope the developers try fix or change in the future. Alright, let's get into it. First I'm going to start with the more easy things that they could do in the game, and then move on to the more harder ones later on, as I understand these might be less reasonable. First of all, honestly, the weapon variety and the amount overkill has been providing for players, it kind of feels anemic to me. The amount being provided overall isn't the problem, but the uniqueness of each weapon does not help the game a lot. Payday 2 benefited a lot from having not only a lot of different weapons, but also a very different range of weapons. But Payday 3's weapons feel way too similar to each other. In my opinion, the new SMG added, and AR introduced in the Boys in Blue update, feel way too similar to previous ones, and to me doesn't warrant actually paying for them. These honestly should have been free DLC and maybe some more unique stuff paid for DLC. In addition to this, the weapon customization with attachments also lacks in my opinion from the previous entry. I was really hoping we would get some sort of pack like the previous game to add more attachments to all the guns, just to make the builds more customizable and varied, but they haven't, so I'm a bit disappointed with this overall. Moving on, player customization. Why has it become so much worse than Payday 2? I don't know why, but the masks overall are good looking, but to me are way too complex most of the time, and they don't lend themselves very well to the customization features in the game. In my opinion, they should really focus on adding some simple masks that allow for some great customization to be put onto them. I just don't know. The masks in the game, none of them have really clicked with me. It doesn't help that how they changed the cross progression system, so now the collector's editions items for me are locked on one platform, and screw me I guess for having to live in a country where the PC collector's edition didn't exist. Also the actual outfits, none of them are that nice. There's not enough colours to actually match with the outfits, and the gloves as well kind of lack. I was really hoping that they would add more colour customization, allowing you to swap colours to make sure everything matches, as this is something I have to do in game. It just makes your character look nicer in my opinion, and if you have a customization feature, I feel like this should be something that you should add, as having this allows for more player expression. Payday 2 did this pretty well in my opinion. Not all of them, some outfits only had, a few colour variations, actually most did, but Payday 3, they don't really do it at all. All the DLC outfits, yes, are complex and are very different looking, but there's no colour customizations, so a lot of the outfits to me are either colours I don't personally like or don't go with any of the outfits I have set up, like my masks or gun setups. I find it crazy how these simple systems, which made customize your character so fun in Payday 2, were just kind of thrown out with everything for no real reason. I really do hope they add some better systems in the future for customization, but to be honest, I don't have any faith in them. Next is progression, and I'm happy to say it's a lot better from launch. I genuinely had to drop the game after launch as I hit infamy level 100, and due to the grind becoming way too much, I kind of picked the game clean for what it was, and yeah, recently I have picked the game back up after the change and it is a massive improvement. However, I have one single issue with this system. There's nothing to grind for. Grinding levels for the sake of grinding levels doesn't really add a progression system. Yes, the system levels, the way it levels up now, is good, but there needs to be something in place for players to actually grind towards, with no infamy levels like in Payday 2, or masks, skins, for guns, exclusive like perks or whatever that you could unlock in Payday 2. They should have had something to complement this or replace this in Payday 3, but they haven't. So the new cool system that people like is pointless, as the grind ends again, and a game like Payday 2, the grind never ended. So why are they making it stop in this game? Who knows? And for some reason in recent years, many devs have tried to change progression systems to a system that ends at a certain point. For example, Call of Duty in Modern Warfare 2019, you could only level up to a certain point each season, and next season your level will reset and you'd go on to the next prestige, but this system was so bad that they're now reverting to the classic prestige system, and this is something Payday 2 I think should follow suit with, well not Payday 2, Payday 3, as it just gives something to grind towards, and I think this game would really benefit from it overall. Alright, next one is a pretty big one. Level replayability and variety. Payday 3 has some serious problems with its heists, and it genuinely scares the ever-living hell out of me for the future of this game. For the uninformed, Payday 3's heists basically have two paths, loud or stealth, and that's it. If you go loud, it always ends the same. You do the exact same objectives in the exact same order, in the exact same way, the exact same resistance it feels like. Stealth, same thing. You do the exact same tasks in the exact same order, in the exact same way. It's just too repetitive. I think the game needs to have a more varied gameplay, moment to moment. Objectives should be able to change. There should be multiple paths in loud, multiple paths in stealth. There needs to be more variety. If they're only going to give us one heist every few months, or as with this update, one new heist every 7 months, what it seems to be like, they need to be more varied. There needs to be more to do in the heists. There just needs to be more. And Payday 2 did this. Payday 2's levels were way more varied and fun to replay, as each time when you play them, something different would happen. Either a different event, or, maybe a different enemy type would show up. Captain Winters would show up. We have the FBI van, but that's it. And also, spawns would change up drastically in Payday 2. Payday 3 has, on most heists, at most 4 variations. Golden Shark, I think, has 3 or 4 different variations for spawns, but they're not that much different. I have solo stealthed Overkill Golden Shark heist countless times. Why? Because that was the only challenging thing for me, and all the other heists were too easy. And I don't want to sound like, oh, this game's too easy for me. The game is too linear, and when you create something that's linear, people master it very quickly. When something's random, it's way more hard to master, as you have to master everything in the game. And on top of this, Payday 2 had something that allowed you to change the heists up completely before even starting them. Pre-planning. Pre-planning allowed you to change heists, either the way you entered, exit, how you got into the loot of the heist. And an example I like is Big Bank. It's such a varied heist with so many different ways to approach it, and it was the map that used pre-planning the best in my opinion. And I wish Payday 3 followed in these footsteps, but they haven't. Pre-planning doesn't even exist in Payday. Yeah, they have the terrible favor system, but that doesn't help, because they're too random again. You don't get them constantly, you can't buy them whenever you want. You have to earn them through drops, which, why? And on top of this, Payday 3 needs more engaging heists in general. The current heists we have are just way too passive. There is way too much waiting around in certain spots or going to certain locations. It's just too passive. There needs to be more to do in the game. We need a more action-orientated heist, be it something like Heat Street, or what they seem to be going towards, Hoxton Breakout, which is now going to become Houston Breakout. So they do seem to be going in the right direction with this. Currently, I'm personally struggling with the current heist variety in the game, as there's not really a lot to do. I personally think the devs should focus on bringing back a few more old heists into the game, just to give us players something to chew on, and just a way to variate the game day to day, as currently there's not many heists that are really worth replaying over and over again. Currently, I'm just playing Boys in Blue over and over again, and that's it. And I'm getting bored of it. And honestly, these are all the main issues I have with the game. I do have a lot more nitpicky things about the game, but I won't really talk about them, as they aren't things that I think need to be changed to fix this game. For example, one thing is the current build system. I do think it could be changed, but I don't think it needs to be changed, as the things I've listed I do think need to be changed to engage players more. But honestly, I'm really scared about the future of Payday, as honestly, this could be another live service game we will lose, and with current comments from certain employees, I believe this is a big possibility in the future. And the problem is that Starbreeze seem to want to expand beyond just Payday, and they have for a while, as this is the only game that they're known for, and they probably don't want this anymore. And this kind of scares me. I don't think Payday 3 will be able to reach the state that will satiate the very demanding Payday community in a good time. But not only the players, but also the studio. And if another game takes off for the studio, well, say goodbye to Payday. But if the other games fail, and Starbreeze don't have a game that's bringing in a good amount of money, I honestly think we could see the entirety of Starbreeze disappear. And my theory is mainly based off the many financial issues they have faced for many years now. But a message to the devs for Payday. I don't hate you, I genuinely want to see you succeed, and I'm one of your biggest supporters. Just make the game fun to replay and grind. That's really all I'm asking, as if you do this, people will stick to the game, people will keep playing it, but at the moment there's just nothing there. I'm personally struggling to keep playing the game, and I want to keep playing the game. I want to support this game. I love the world that you make. I love everything about this game. Well, not about Payday 3, but Payday 2. I just want Payday 3 to become what Payday 2 was and improve on it. If you want my opinion, I kind of think the story should be dropped for a bit. I think they should focus on making the foundation of the game actually stable and making the game fun to play. As currently they're trying to build a house on a foundation that isn't stable, and they're risking the entire game collapsing in on itself, and I think this is going to happen if it continues, as the next few updates, expansion 3 and 4, God knows when they're coming out, because it took 7 months for Boys in Blue. Maybe it'll take another 7 for the next update. Who knows? They're not communicating enough with us anyway, so God knows. But that's enough from me. I didn't want this to be too long, as I kind of just wanted to project my thoughts out. But yeah, see you around. Crocodile.